This meeting is now being recorded.
Welcome to College Recruiter, where we believe that every student and college grad deserves a great career. I'm here with Jeff Dunn from Intel, who has lots of experience campus recruiting, and he wants to talk about career advancement strategies, particularly for STEM fields. So, Jeff, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure to be here.
As always. And you've got some good insight, I know, into this. Why don't we get started? Tell us, first of all, off the bat, someone who is in a STEM field, mechanical, I think you were rattling off mechanical engineering, some other fields or some other roles at Intel. How long should someone in those roles expect to be in that entry-level role before they should even start thinking about moving up the ladder?
Coming out of school, you should probably be in your first role for at least 12 to 18 months. You need to allow time to learn, to make a contribution before you decide you want to do something else, before you sort of earn the right. Companies like Intel want to retain good talent, so they're not in it to pigeonhole you for 5 years. But if you're trying to change jobs after 3 to 6 months, you've barely learned where the bathroom is and you're barely productive. So I think 12 to 18 months is a good benchmark. And then if you want to start looking around to do something different and you're capable, it's actually in the company's interest to help you make that switch.
Right. Okay, so becoming capable, what are the skills that you see these entry-level STEM employees should be working on and building?
Actually, one of the big ones is networking. It's important to build up your sphere of influence, the people that know you and respect you and can help you. It's important to build a track record of meeting deadlines. It's important to make sure you're always prepared for meetings and always be ready to adapt to change, because business changes, companies change, they reorg. Being flexible in your approach and your style will pay big dividends over your career.
So none of those were actually technical skills. And does it sounds like, or would it be correct to assume that grads that are entering STEM fields probably have what they need in terms of technical skills? Maybe they need to be trained up a little bit, but the skills that they are lacking, or at least the ones that they need to move up, are softer skills.
Yes, companies tend to hire for technical skills, but when things don't work out, it's almost always a fit. They're not a team player. They're not willing to learn other people's perspectives. They want to go off and do their own thing. So the technical skills, you're going to need to learn company-specific technical skills wherever you go. That's not going to hold someone back. In fact, companies like Intel will actually pay for you to get graduate degrees because we value the technical knowledge. But your real success is going to be around working in teams, in helping others, and entering into meetings and cross-functional groups in a real positive way and looking to get results for customers.
So you mentioned networking. How can those entry-level employees gain more visibility in a genuine way, not forcing it?
Well, one way is to make sure you document all your accomplishments. So when you get to a review regularly, you can review what you've actually accomplished and put it on your performance review. I encourage people to attend social events because it's a great way to network. It's a great way to meet people outside of your own department. You can shadow someone in another group, even for an hour, to sort of walk in their shoes, see what they do, meet other people. I think asking questions, showing you've done your homework, is a great way to build up your brand, your reputation, your visibility. And any cross-functional teams that you can be a part of, again, gives you insight to other people. You make friends, and people will sometimes tap you on the shoulder if an opportunity comes up before it's even advertised.
Mm-hmm. I think that one of your first points about shadowing is really important, because not everybody thinks to do that, because the idea of it seems a little maybe awkward, standing over someone's shoulder, but it's not that. Somebody, if you ask them to ask to shadow somebody, that's flattering, and somebody would love to have, kind of walk through what they're doing and show you what they know.
People are almost always willing to help, whether it's shadowing somebody, whether it's having a one-on-one conversation, kind of an informational interview to find out about their job, whether it's actually requesting someone to be a mentor or a coach in some way to help you develop skills or help you develop in your career. People love talking about themselves, and people love sharing what they like about a job, and it's great insight just to do your research by one-on-one conversations to get a sense from someone that's actually doing the job, what it takes, what they like, what they maybe don't like so much, and how they got to that path.
Yeah, people like to talk about themselves. What are some of the mistakes that you've seen at Intel from those entry-level employees, particularly in the STEM field?
One mistake is people try to bounce around too quickly. So they get into a job, and 6 months later they're already trying to angle for their next job. Another is that they start making demands before they've really taken the time to learn what is the current process, what are the current dynamics, why are we doing what we're doing, before they've sort of earned the right to make suggestions and recommendations to change things. If you come in and saying, we got to do things my way, you're not going to make friends or allies. So it's important to try to work within the team environment. If you have suggestions and you want to take initiative, that's great, but make sure that you've earned the right to do that.
Put in your dues.
That's right.
I think that's sometimes hard to hear for millennials particularly, who have great ideas and they want to be valued for their ideas. And I think what I hear you saying, what I've heard others say is, your ideas are valuable and they will be taken, right? But you kind of have to prove yourself first, build your credibility.
You do, and it's not simply a matter of tenure. It's not like you have to sit around for 5 years before you can speak, but it's more a matter of you have to understand the context, not only the technical stuff, but the team, the customers. There's just a learning curve for any role you get into, and I would always advise someone to make sure they're on pretty solid ground before they start trying to take charge of a project or a team, because you want to build consensus.
Yeah. And a good way to, before challenging the status quo, a great thing to do that I think what those entry-level employees can do is ask, why do we do it this way? Ask that question and then let it simmer.
Sure.
What other general career advancement strategies do you have for entry-level?
I would advise new grads, people coming into the workplace, to always offer to help wherever they can. Don't just meet expectations, but try to exceed what's asked. Try to get things done sooner. Always be a continual learner. Always make sure that you understand that whatever you know today could be obsolete in a year. And so it's important to always be enhancing your skills. And again, I mentioned finding a mentor. If you can get someone to help you with introductions, with working on skills, with making sure you avoid some of the pitfalls that other people do, it can open lots of doors for you. Not only advancing upward, but expanding, across the organization and broadening your skills.
Last question I have for you, Jeff. How much recruitment do you do of undergrad versus grad for those technical roles?
For Intel, it's about a third bachelor's, a third master's, and a third PhD.
Right.
So fully 2/3 of the new grads we hire and the interns we hire in the U.S. are at the graduate level. We value, because we're a leader in technology, we value having that deep technical knowledge. And in any given position, you're going to be more narrow and more deep than maybe someone at a smaller startup. But over time, you can completely change roles. So you could be a component design engineer today, and a year from now, you could be a software engineer or a firmware engineer or a validation engineer. You may be doing one thing at a time, but over 5 years, you could do 3 or 4 different things.
Yeah, that's great. Flexibility and variety. Thank you, Jeff. Anything else you want to add?
No, I encourage people to ask questions, and I'm a big fan of informational interviews. Talk to people that are doing the job. Get a sense of what they like, what the culture's like, and follow what other people have done. People are happy to share not only what they're doing, but how they got there. So success leaves clues. Take advantage of what other people have done.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, Jeff. Good insight.
Good to be with you, Anna.
All right.